Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends, and this one's going to be featuring Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is one of the champions who's been introduced kind of recently. She was introduced in, I believe in 2018. If you watch the Worlds for 2018, Kai'Sa was played a lot at Worlds, like to the point where she was in almost every game, it felt like. And it was a very popular pick. She was nerfed a bit since then, but is still a fairly popular choice as far as ADs go. And we're going to be watching her in this game as she is played by this person called Mikey. I'm probably just going to refer to her as Kai'Sa. This replay was sent to me by a viewer. That was sent to me by Rienzo, who is the Leona player in this game. And this is a game from the Oceania region. So yes, I can download and cast replays from anywhere in the world. It's not region locked or anything like that. It's definitely nice having the whole replay system as opposed to back in 2011, 2012 when there were no replays and it was super frustrating. The amount of technical problems I had to go through to cast games, you will never understand unless you were around in the league scene back then. So anyway, let me run through the laning matchups real quick and then we'll talk a little bit more about Kai'Sa as a champion. So in top lane, it looks like we're going to have Rumble against Gnar. In mid, we're going to have Malzahar against Neeko. Also, nice that we get a Neeko game here. This game is not going to be cast specifically from Neeko's point of view, but I'm hoping to get a good Neeko game at some point. So if any of you have been playing Neeko, please feel free to send a video my way because she's a very interesting champ. And a little overtuned, a little too strong right now on release. She will probably get nerfed in the next upcoming patch, but a neat champion. I like the design overall, even if her numbers are a little too high right now. And then in the jungle, we're going to have Malphite for blue team. Sadly, not rocking the best skin in the game, Shamrock Malphite. But hey, it's still Malphite jungle. And on the other side, we have Udyr jungle. And in the bot lane, we're going to have Kai'Sa and Leona against a Triss Morgana matchup. I will say that Morgana is a very good support pick against Leona because Morgana's Black Shield can pretty much shut down Leona's engage. It's a very nice counter pick, and I don't know if that was a deliberate goal when this lane was set up, but Morgana is a very good counter pick into a Leona. So if you see someone on the other team pick Leona and you can play Morgana, nice choice for support. Okay, so what makes Kai'Sa kind of different, unusual as an AD? Well, her biggest thing is she, at least traditionally, could be built in both AD and AP fashion. You would see people going either an AD route or an AP route, which was really nice for her in competitive play because she could fit into a lot of different team comps. Even if you were running like, oh, well, we got an engage right here, let's watch this. So Leona goes in, gets the stun, onto Triss, gonna ignite, and that's gonna pick up first blood. So nicely done by Rienzo, seeing that they hit level 2, and seeing an opportunity just to go in and engage, put the ward down in the brush, and just locked up Tristana, and then it was just a matter of piling on the damage. So gets them an early first blood for their laner, and gets early advantage in the lane. One other thing I should mention, Triss, if you look at the initial starting item, Triss went Cull first. Not recommended these days. If Triss had started with Endurance Blade, that extra 80 health might have been enough to make the difference. Cull is a farming item, doesn't really give you any stats. You pretty much just sit on this item if you want to farm in lane. And if you're up against an aggressive laner like a Leona, it's a dangerous call, let's just put it that way. And it kind of backfired there for Tristana. Okay, so back to Kai'Sa. This is one of the nice Kai'Sa skins. This is the KDA version. This is a pretty expensive skin. Just, yeah, if you like Kai'Sa a lot, this is the kind of purchase you can make. They're going to go back right now and look to spend the gold that they just picked up after shoving the tower, and that's a good decision. Although that ward actually interrupts their recall, so they can't get back to base. All right. As I was saying, Kai'Sa, the thing that kind of made her unique is she could be built either AD or AP, and that gave her a lot of flexibility into professional team comps because they could run an AD-heavy comp like in top and mid, and then they could do an AP build on Kai'Sa and still get magic damage out of it. So let's look at her passive first, second skin. Her basic attack stack Plasma for 4 seconds, deal bonus magic damage. So here's why you could build her in the AP route, because it would synergize with that Plasma, and you could stack up that passive if you were building lots and lots of AP. And then that Plasma detonates at 4 stacks, dealing damage equal to 15% of the target's missing health. Allies immobilizing effects on champions also add 1 stack of Plasma. So you can see the Plasma, if it's on the minion right there. Let's see, when Kai'Sa auto attacks, you'll see it. So this is similar to a lot of other abilities in the game. Get 4 stacks, deal bonus damage. We've seen this on a lot of other champions. And then also has this thing, Living Weapon. Her suit adapts to her choices, evolves based on her abilities. Sorry, I had a little notification pop up on my desktop. Let me highlight that again. Kai'Sa's suit adapts her choices, evolves her abilities based on permanent stats from items and champion levels. So basically her skills get stronger as the game goes on based on what she's building in terms of items. Nice sidestep there on the Morgana Dark Binding. So also a reason why she's popular, she scales quite well. She's one of the better scaling champions in terms of ADs. I guess, is it even fair to call her an AD? I'm going to go ahead and call her that just because that's what this role is traditionally called. But yeah, she scales quite well into the late game because her abilities get more powerful based on what she's building. So let's go through and try to highlight. Oh, and I should mention, yeah, there's the plasma right there. So you can see the 3 stacks, there's the 4th stack. But these little, I don't know what to call them, little diamonds that are appearing underneath minions, underneath enemies, that's the plasma stacking up as far as Kai'Sa goes. Okay, so let's start with her nice attempt at engaging Rienzo, but it doesn't happen. Let's start with her Q here. This is the skill that Kai'Sa maxes first, as I understand it, and you can see the Kai'Sa player in this game maxing it first. Yeah, right there, Rienzo flashes to try to engage, but you see the Morgana Dark Binding shutting down the, or not Dark Binding, the Black Shield shutting down the engage. So again, Morgana, a very good pick into Leona because you go into stun and she drops the Black Shield, and all of a sudden Leona's abilities do not stun. Another nice attempt at engage, but it doesn't work there. Alright, so back to this. The Q on Kai'Sa, Icathian Rain, launches 6 missiles that split amongst nearby enemy champs, deals physical damage, additional hits on the champ deal only 30% damage. So you see this a lot. It's an ability that is good for farming, it's good for trading with enemy champs. Let's see, I'll see if I can highlight it. Right there, the little shot of the what are they? The Icathian Rain, is that what it's called? So it shoots out 6 projectiles. And right there we see another jump in. Nice job by Rienzo to get the initial engage. Unfortunately though, the Kai'Sa player gets too low and it turns into a 1-for-1. And not a 1-for-1 in their advantage because the kill went on to Leona, not onto Kai'Sa. And then Triss picked up a kill in return, and now Triss can sit in the lane and farm. So ultimately, backfired there. Not nice idea, just didn't quite work out. And their team, the enemy team, was able to get a little bit ahead. So like I said, Icathian Rain, it's the ability that shoots out missiles, good for farming, good for trading with enemies. Kai'Sa players seem to max this first. And then the living weapon bonus is when you get 100 bonus attack damage, Icathian Rain will fire 10 missiles instead of firing 6 missiles. So more missiles for more wave clear, more damage in fights. So this is based on, as you can see, bonus attack damage. Kai'Sa already has 73, so getting pretty close to that 100. So obviously this changes based on what you're building throughout the game. So where's that damage coming from? Well, look what Kai'Sa's built. BF Sword, that's plus 40. Doran's, that's plus 8. Plus 10 from the longsword, another plus 10. So there you go. That's how you get to the that's how you get to the bonus 73. You might say, well, wait, that doesn't add up to 73, and you have to keep in mind, as characters level up, they get more stats as well. So you get more AD for leveling up, and that's what's making up the difference there. Alright, so that's her Q. You see this, we'll see Kai'Sa using this a lot. I'll try to highlight it again. Next up is her W, her Void Seeker. This skill is on a very long cooldown, 22 seconds, but it fires an extreme long-range missile. Let's see, so right there, it is, there's the W, and a nice stun right there from Leona blocks up the Tristana player. She's going to try to rocket jump away, but it is not in time. So a really nice use of the Leona ultimate, the solar flare right there. Rienzo just goes ahead, hits Triss with the center of the solar flare, and then just locks up Triss. And just like that, the Triss player just is dead and can't manage to get out of it. So really nicely done. Alright, as I was saying, I'll lock the camera on Kai'Sa again. So the W right there, the Void Seeker, fires a Void Blast, grants a True Sight on first enemy hit, triggers 2 stacks of plasma, deals magic damage based on the target stacks. So if you're going the AP route on Kai'Sa, this ends up doing a huge amount of your damage. That and the passive that you get on the AP ratio on the plasma. So again, big advantage of this is it's really long range. It will also trigger 2 stacks of plasma. You can shoot this. I don't know what the exact range is. Can I highlight this? No. Not showing up here on the replay mode, but it's like 2,000 plus range. You can hit people a very long distance away, and it's important because then that synergizes with Kai'Sa's ult, because it's part of what gives her great mobility. You can hit people from a long distance away, and then you can jump in after them with Kai'Sa's ult when it's up. So keep this in mind. That's the Void Seeker. And the Living Weapon component is it triggers from 100 ability power, triggers 3 stacks of plasma, and refunds 50% of the cooldown. So what I've seen is when Kai'Sa players build AD, they do not get the Living Weapons upgrade on this, but for Kai'Sa players who go AP, they will get this. So again, kind of goes back to how you're building her as a champion. Right now, Rienzo and his Kai'Sa AD right now are just getting some more stacks on this turret, which is good. Hammering away at those turret plates, getting the extra gold, continuously shoving in. I know there's fighting elsewhere, but trying to keep the focus down here on this bottom lane. Continuously shoving in, forcing Triss to go back because Triss was low, and denying minions on the tower. So again, standard AD play, and that's a little bit unfortunate that misses. Yeah, not quite able to carry that up. If the Solar Flare had been placed just slightly in front of Triss, I think that would have been another kill. So not quite able to get that. Let's see, are they going to try to look to die this? Yeah, but see, look what they're doing. They're forcing Triss off the tower. She cannot farm these minions. They're going to claim another plate. That's 3 plates now that they've picked up. And those plates are worth a lot. Each one's 160 gold. So they're definitely picking up a lot off of these plays. Alright, so let's go through the remainder of Kai'Sa's abilities, assuming that there's no more combat here. Her E is called Supercharge. Kai'Sa spends 1 second supercharging her Void Energy, gains 60% movement speed during the charge, and 40% attack speed for 4 seconds when charged. So this is not a direct combat ability, kind of a support ability, but when Kai'Sa uses this, she basically, it's kind of like a dash. I don't want to say it's quite like a dash, but she does get a big surge of movement speed for about a second, and then she also gets a brief increase in attack speed afterwards. So a useful utility skill for her to have. Another reason why, as she gets stronger as the game goes on, she is able to scale really well into the late game. So note what happens when you get the Living Weapon transformation. If you can get up to 100% attack speed, Supercharge will grant invisibility, so she gets a mini stealth. It's kind of similar to the mini stealth that a Vayne player will get when Vayne uses her ultimate and will tumble with it. You just get like this brief moment of stealth while she kind of surges forward with this extra movement speed. Now, granted, you only get that if you get 100% extra attack speed, but if you go the AD route with Kai'Sa, you will usually be able to pick this up during the game. You can see they went back to base. She's picked up the Storm Razor, so right there's 35% attack speed, and you can see up to 43%, so the remaining 8% is coming from level ups on Kai'Sa. Again, you get a lot of stats when you level up in the game. I'm not sure everybody knows this, but every time you level up, you get a whole bunch of stats. So she's picking up extra attack damage, extra movement speed, extra attack speed. Well, not extra movement speed. You don't get extra movement speed for leveling up, but you get extra attack speed. And so yeah, as you level up, you also get more stats, and that factors into what Kai'Sa gets. I believe she may have already triggered, yeah, she's already triggered the Living Weapon upgrade for Icathian range, so now gets 10 missiles, and you saw it used right there to help clear that minion wave. Alright, so then finally, let's finish, oh, there's the W again on Morgana to try and interrupt her from recalling. And yeah, you see an attempt at a Leona engage. Good job by Rienzo to sweep out the wards, or be looking to clear out the ward coverage there in this bottom lane. Now, they are getting ganked right now, so yeah, there's not a lot they can do there. A nice Leona Solar Flare to try and lock up Triss, so they are going to pick up 1 kill. Now the question is, can they get out of this? I think Rienzo's going to be fine to run out of this. So they turned that into a 1-for-1, and considering that Udyr was ganking them, that's not bad. They did have it warded, so maybe they could have escaped that a little bit better if they'd been focusing, watching the map a little bit better. But going 1-for-1 when you get ganked, not terrible. The only downside is the Leona player did get the kill. It would have been preferable to have Kai'Sa get that, and they did have to blow all 4 of their summoners, but the enemy team actually ended up blowing all 4 of their summoners as well. So overall, not too bad. Could have come out better, but not bad considering the circumstances. Alright, so you did actually see Kai'Sa use her ult right there. Her ult is called Killer Instinct. Kai'Sa warps to a location near an enemy champ affected by plasma, gains a shield that absorbs a decent amount of damage for 2 seconds. So basically, Kai'Sa, this is what gives her mobility, and one of the reasons why she can be really good in the late game. By the way, there was her E right there, that little kind of surge of movement speed. That was the supercharge. So Kai'Sa can dash, and the range on this is quite good as well. Again, I'd say it's roughly 2,000-ish range. I can't highlight the range on the ability, but she has to dash. She can dash to a champion that she has recently damaged, so it has to be someone who has plasma. Udyr's coming in for a gank, but they should be fine, and in fact, Udyr's bit off a little more than he could chew there. He actually gets blown up by Kai'Sa, and now Kai'Sa has double buff, so going to continue to look to go in, and is going to pick up the kill on Triss as well, so that is a double kill. And oh, unfortunate that that Zenith Blade misses, because if that had hit, likely would be a triple kill. Morgana really should just be leaving, so there is another hit from Plasma. If only that Kai'Sa ult was up right now, going to be able to dash in, and does in fact get the delayed triple kill right there, so a great fight, turning around that gank in bottom lane, and now this bottom lane is really off and rolling. They pick up 3 kills for Kai'Sa, going 4-2-2 on the game, and with that double buff, going to be able to finish farming this minion wave, and then should be able to take this tower, which is going to be first tower of the game, and they've surged hugely ahead in gold. Rienzo even backing off away from the tower at the end there, so all of the gold will go to the Kai'Sa player. I don't know if that was deliberate, but if it was, well played there, so that Kai'Sa gets all of the first turret gold, all 450 of that. Okay, so we did and there's more combat going on up there. Let's see if Malphite can chase this kill down. I think he wants to get this. So gonna get rooted by Nico, and then gonna use the Malphite ultimate. Who's gonna win this duel? And Malphite is gonna pick up that kill in the end. So nice job cleaning up that fight, which turns it into a 1-for-1. But as far as Kai'Sa goes, just to finish up with her ult, yeah, Killer Instinct. She can warp to a champ, but it does have to be an enemy champ who is affected by plasma. So you can't just go anywhere with this skill. It does have to be someone you've already damaged. But there's a whole bunch of combos you can do. You can hit someone at long range with the Void Seeker and then dash to them with Killer Instinct. You can reposition really well in teamfights, and again, this is why she's been heavily prized in competitive play. The professional players are really good at maneuvering this champion. Looks like she's caught, and then all of a sudden she just dashes to somewhere else in the fight and continues DPSing the enemy team. Also can use it for stuff like that, like right there, the Kai'Sa player just checked the brush to see if there was anyone in there. Turns out there wasn't. That's a nice ward placement as well to try to clear that. So that's kind of the basics of Kai'Sa. As far as her skilling order goes, we actually have a fight. So there it is right there. You see the ult. You see an example of how it can be used right there. Able to just dash from like right here in this brush all the way into the river and then clean up that kill on the champion that Rienzo was already locking up. So just a free kill onto that Morgana player. So that kind of mobility is part of why her mobility and the fact that she scales really well in the late game, part of the reason why she's so heavily prized. Or was heavily prized in competitive play. I mean, right now there hasn't been a lot of play because we're kind of in the preseason. Be interesting to see if she's still as popular after we come back to the competitive scene. So right there, Udyr is going to go in, and they actually do manage to get the kill on the Kai'Sa. Now Trist is going to run, and unfortunately there's not really anywhere for Trist to go. She's taking a lot of minion damage, actually. Too bad Leona does not have Moby Boots yet. Trist actually even going to use heal, which feels like a waste to me. Probably should just accept you're not getting away. Here comes Malphite, and yeah, it's not going to work. Not going to be able to get away, and a very unnecessary flash from Malphite. I didn't know what the purpose of that was. I'm pretty sure Trist was not getting out, especially with a really needless way of blowing that flash, but whatever. So we do see the Kai'Sa play it dying in that fight, but ultimately it turns into a 2-for-1, so not that bad. Over here, we do see Malphite getting caught, and oh man, I really wish I had flash up right now. Yeah, that's a good explanation of why you don't want to burn your flash unnecessarily. It's like, oh man, if only I had flash up right now. So in any case, that death to the jungler means this should be a pretty easy dragon for the red team to take. So they're going to get the dragon. It is a kill onto Morgana as she gets locked up by some more nice Leona play, but I'm not sure Rienzo fully wanted to go in there. And now we're going to see, here comes the Kai'Sa player. Let's watch Kai'Sa. He's going to be trying to chase after Udyr, going to flash after Udyr. Oh, nice turtle stance right there for the shielding. And that Udyr is super low, but not quite dead yet. Gonna get rooted by Nico, and I don't think... Oh, actually that kill does get finished off. I think it was minions that actually finished that off. Maybe not. Have to go back and double check. So it does get the kill on Udyr, but ends up dying. And overall, that dragon fight was not a good sequence for Rienzo's blue team. They ended up going, I think, like 2-for-4 or something like that. They did not get the dragon. So double Ocean Drake right now for members of the blue team. I guess the one consolation prize is that Rumble was able to grab that top turret, but ultimately probably not worth. Should have considered teleporting down into that fight, considering that Rumble's been winning this top lane pretty clearly. And a Rumble Equalizer might have gone a long way towards winning that fight. But in the end, didn't work out for their team. They're still ahead in this match, but the gold gap was closed a little bit. They were like 4,000 gold ahead, now they're like 3,000 gold ahead. And the double Ocean Drakes were picked up. By the way, this tower falling is also kind of the tail end of that last play, so now it's down to about a 2,000 gold lead in terms of the gold comparison between the two. Alright, so let's get back to Kai'Sa. Let's talk a little bit about her skilling order. As you can see here, maxing the Q first, maxing the E second, and then leaving just 1 point in the W. Largely because the W is not that consequential in a team fight, whereas getting the supercharge is just more helpful. And Kai'Sa has already gotten the living weapon upgrade, so supercharge will grant invisibility. There it is. This is a good example of watching it right there. Dashes forward. Well, not... Again, I'm hesitant to say dashes forward because it's technically not a dash, it's just a little surge of movement speed, but then gets to go forward. So Q first, E second, 1 point in W, and then of course picking your ult whenever it's available so that you can get both more shielding on that plasma and then also get the extra mobility from, I believe it has a shorter cooldown as you put more points in it. There is a fight going on in mid for Moltar is going to get locked up here, and now Udyr is going to use his stun onto Leona. Can Rienzo get out of here? No, not going to be able to. We have a teleport from Rumble coming in behind this. It's a pretty good equalizer, and it's going to be enough to toast the Gnar player. Oh, are they going to be able to get the Trist. She's still running. Gonna flash after this. No, not quite, but Kai'Sa's over here, and Kai'Sa just gonna walk in and kill steal that, as Kai'Sa also finishes off the tower and bot. So they clean that one up, and oh, can Udyr finish this off? No. Looks like it is gonna be Rumble. Oh man, just dies at the tail end of that. So overall, a good fight for blue team though. They get further ahead, they get a tower and bot, and Walls probably can get this mid tower before anyone else is here. No, actually he doesn't, because the Malefic Visions damaged the Morgana player, and then the tower switched to hitting him. So right there, Nico's going to hit the root, going to use the Nico ultimate, and is that going to be enough to finish off Kai'Sa? Ooh, a nice use of the stopwatch right there. And oh, that is unfortunate for Kai'Sa. Gets blown up at the very, very end of that. Some nice use of the Nico root, which is her, which skill is that? Her E is her root right here. Tangle Barbs is the official name. I do not know the names of Nico's skills yet. And able to finish that off with a little help from Morgana at the tail end. So even though Kai'Sa is doing really well in this game, has died 5 times, which is an awful lot for this early in the game. Maybe playing a little bit aggressively down in bottom lane. Probably should not have been looking to push this tower, honestly, especially because it's just going to regenerate its health. One of the things I don't like about the current makeup of League of Legends is that the base turrets regenerate health. They've gone back and the designers have gone back and forth on this several times, but currently the base turrets do get health. I always prefer it when they do not get health back, but personal preference. So Kai'Sa, what's she building? First item was Storm Razor. Storm Razor seems pretty standard. Basically, every AD builds this first, largely because the various crit items got nerfed really badly back I think back in the summer, and so Storm Razor has just turned into the default first item on every AD. For Kai'Sa, she then typically goes Rageblade second. Not a lot of champions want Rageblade, but Kai'Sa is one of the champs who does, because she has that that AP scaling on her plasma. Ginsu's Rageblade gives her a chance to get both attack damage and ability power, and then she also gets the attack speed as well, which is also quite good for her, and then she can stack up that extra attack speed by using it. For the third item, the Kai'Sa players have chosen to go for Runan's Hurricane. More attack speed, more crit chance, more movement speed, and you get those extra bolts. The extra bolts seem to work pretty well on Kai'Sa because she has kind of that area of effect stuff on her Q, and this gives her a way to get kind of an area of effect on her just basic attacks as well. They seem to synergize pretty well together. So this is a build that's going to be kind of a long scaling build because there's no Infinity Edge here yet. Looks like Infinity Edge is going to be like the 4th item. We've got a duel right now with Udyr, but a nice assist from Malphite, going to go in there, get the knockup, and that's really all that Kai'Sa needs, just an ability to CC the enemy team, and then Kai'Sa can kill them all. So this is going to turn into a play for Dragon, and unlike the first two, which were Ocean Drakes, this one's an Infernal, which is again super duper nice for Kai'Sa. And a nice grab here from Rienzo onto that Morgana. Going to look to try and tie her up. Let's see if Morgana can get over the blast cone. She does, and now she's going to look to ult. And unfortunately, Rienzo's kind of put himself in a position where he probably doesn't want to be. It's a good solar flare, though. So right there, that's going to be 1 kill on Trist, and now Kai'Sa's going to look to clean everyone else up. And oh, Nico fooled me. Not only fooled the blue team, fooled me as well with her W, the shape splitter ran off. But it's probably not going to be possible to get out of this. So there is the W, and let's see if that's going to be enough. A nice root right there, but I feel like this is just a matter of time. Alright, so finally Kai'Sa's just like, whatever, I'll flash for it. Flashes and gets the kill. And meanwhile on top lane, Gnar got a kill as well. So ultimately that fight went really well for blue team. Rienzo was able to get off a good bank of crowd control, lock up members of the enemy team, and then Kai'Sa just murdered everybody, which is kind of the way that this lane plays. Leona supplies the crowd control, Kai'Sa supplies the damage. There's that, the E again, the dash. God, I keep saying dash. It's not truly a dash. It's just a movement speed surge forward. And they're looking to push on this tower. Note that Udyr is over here, lurking in the brush. I'm not sure this is a good fight for red team, though. They're pretty far behind. Oh, there's the initiation from Malzahar. Gonna look to engage onto that Trist player. Is the Kai'Sa ult up? Yes, it is. So Kai'Sa could have dashed after that, potentially. Chose not to. Just backing, probably going to grab the blue buff here, and I think Kai'Sa's sitting on a ton of gold. Yeah, 3,000 gold to spend, so really just needs to go back, spend this gold, incorporate it into items. I think that's enough to pretty much like straight buy an Infinity Edge at this point. So should just go back, look to buy, look to be ready to fight again. Hopefully fight while that double buff is still intact. And wow, going to take the other red as well. Kind of a little bit greedy here, Kai'Sa. Do you really need both reds? But I guess so. Kai'Sa is way out in front on gold, and is the strongest member of this team. So let's look at the gold totals. Yeah, Kai'Sa way out in front of everyone else on the team. About to hit 14,000 gold. No one else is even at just closest is 9,000, so wow, way, way, way out in front of the team. And then Udyr has the most gold on the enemy team. Let's see what she picks up. I believe it's, yeah, just straight Infinity Edge. So now gets all that extra attack damage and critical strike chance. So now Kai'Sa is well and truly out in front of this game. Has 5 items, is working on the 6th item. Really will just murder the enemy team. I don't even think they have that much armor on the enemy team. I'm looking at their builds right now, and the only one I'm seeing with any armor is actually the Nico player has the Zanyas, but no one else has like any armor at all. So their team really needs to start stacking some armor to deal with Kai'Sa, because she's just going to kill everyone in an instant at the current pace, since no one has any ability to stop her. So right now, the blue team is kind of pushing around Baron. They're actually just starting up the Baron, and red team does not seem to be aware of this. Let's provide their vision. Yeah, no vision up here. They're fighting Rumble, but while they're killing Rumble, the blue team is just sitting here doing the Baron, and they can do it very quickly. So that is not worth it to get the kill on Rumble, but give away a Baron in the process. And that means Kai'Sa is just going to be even more disgusting. Again, like the Infernal Drake granting both AP and AD, Kai'Sa can benefit from both. The Baron also grants AP and AD, and again, she can benefit from both. So right there, she can just, yeah, gonna dash into this fight, picks off Morg instantly. Now continuing to lurk, now gonna come down and claim Triss. And even though they're gonna lose Malzahar, not an even fight at all. And Kai'Sa should be able to just rip her way through these towers with no problem. Actually gonna land the long-range W on Nico there. See a teleport coming in. I don't even think this tower is going to be alive when that finishes. Yeah, Nar's going to come in, but he's mini Nar, so there's not a lot he can do right now. Kai'Sa, yeah, look at that damage. Jeez, just melts so fast. And now Udyr is presumably the focus. Well, I guess they'll get grab this inhibitor first, but there's not much left to stop this Kai'Sa at this point. She's already picked up 15 kills. Oh, gonna get rooted by Nico though, so maybe this is a way to stop her. Just need to crowd control. Provide crowd control for Kai'Sa to kill everyone, and she's just barely not able to survive that. And as soon as Kai'Sa goes down, there's not a whole lot that Malphite and Leona can do. They're just here to supply crowd control. They don't really have any damage. So Rienzo and the Malphite jungler are going to have to look to walk out of this fight because, as I said, they're basically just here to CC the enemy team, not to provide damage themselves. This is a time where it would probably be nice to have Merc Treads, or excuse me, not Merc Treads. Leona does have Merc Treads. I was going to say probably a nice time to have mobility boots, but instead went with the Merc Treads, which is always a fair choice. And it looks like they were able to escape out of there with no further problems. And now they'll just recall back to base. There's a dragon spawning. It's another ocean drake, so not hugely valuable at this point in time. But, you know, never hurts to have another drake. Would be nice for them to get that just to stop the heavy drake stacking on the enemy team. But it looks like Udyr is going to be in position to go down and grab this. So let's see if he can get this one. Not a lot else going on the map right now. No word coverage from blue team. So yeah, with the death to Kai'Sa, they're not really in a great position to fight, and I think Udyr is just gonna grab this. Udyr is the strongest member of his team, 10-5-1. If you look at the gold again, 12,000. Nobody else really that close. So it's been a nice jungle Udyr game here, and he ends up with a triple ocean drake. So if you want to see, look at this regen. 210 health regen for 5, 29 magic regen for 5. So he has a ridiculous amount of health regen when he's out of combat. But I'm not sure that's really going to matter against Kai'Sa because no amount of health regen is going to save you from this six item Kai'Sa. She has everything. And she has now picked up the Quicksilver Sash for the last item, which is a smart choice. Just needs the ability to avoid getting crowd controlled. And that's going to be enough to take out everybody. So Malphite and Leona a little bit ahead of the team. They're going to get blown up right there. So it's a great initial start to the fight. Now let's see how much damage or how many of these champions Kai'Sa can manage to pick up. She is looking to get her Udyr. Nice good job by Malzahar to use his ult to lock up Udyr for a few seconds. Malz is going to get blown up, but Kai'Sa picks up a second kill. So she still have her ult. She does still have her ult up, so she should be able to go in. So right there, dashes in with the ult, picks up Nico, then picks up Morgana, and yeah, that's a quadra kill right there, picking up double buff in the process. So even though that was a horrendous start to the fight for the blue team, with them losing both Malzahar and Leona, at this point, Kai'Sa's just too strong. Malzahar provided the crowd control to pick off Udyr, who's the only really strong member of the enemy team. And at that point, it was just, you know, clean up on aisle 5 as Kai'Sa kills everyone. As you see these little attack animations as she kills the inhibitor as well. There's the dash for the extra attack speed. She has she's capped attack speed when she has that. When she uses her E, her supercharge, she caps attack speed, which is max 2.5 is the max you can get in terms of attack speed, and her E takes her to that. So 271 damage with maxed out attack speed. It's pretty disgusting, especially when the plasma is added on. So what's this? Our attacks detonate. How much does the plasma do? Let's see. Well, it doesn't really do that much magic damage. It mostly is just the 15% of the target's missing health. And now picks up the 6th and final item, picks up the Mercurial Scimitar. So yeah, now 360 damage with max attack speed, or, well, max attack speed when Kai'Sa uses her supercharge. So there's not a lot that the enemy team can really do about that. If they don't kill Kai'Sa instantly at the start of a team fight, there's really no way that they can win, because Kai'Sa just does so much damage. She murders everyone. And now taking time to pick up red buff here. Their team should honestly just not even be fighting this. There's no reason to be up here posturing with no Kai'Sa. They should just wait until Kai'Sa gets here, because they're honestly putting themselves in an unnecessary amount of danger by posturing around this tower without their super duper fed AD in the area. Right there, going to hit the long range W, but of course doesn't want to jump into the enemy team. This is a free tower. There's super minions in bot. There's super minions in mid. The red team has to clear these, so there's nothing they can do to hold this. The only place they could theoretically fight would maybe be at this tower. See Nico running in, or not actually running in, sending her shapeshift W in. The fake version of Nico clone, I guess you could say. But like, Udyr's down here, he has to clear this wave. There's not a lot that the red team can really do. They just have to hope for a bad mistake by the blue team. All they really need to do on blue team's side is just wait, let the minions push into the base, and then when the red team is clearing those minions, going up, but Nico going to look to engage with her ult. It's a good ult, but it's just slightly in front of the rest of the team. A really nice rumble ult right there. Going to tie up most of the blue team, and now Kai'Sa can just, you know, kill everyone. So that's 3 kills. There's the ult. Going to dash in. Udyr's going to stun, but I mean, there's not much you can do. Malphite flash ults. And then Udyr just melts like butter in the hot sun. As another quadra kill picked up for Kai'Sa. 24 kills on the game. And then there's a surrender, you know, 5 seconds before the Nexus would have been finished off anyway. So this is what happens when Kai'Sa gets super fed. I mean, any AD, to a certain extent, any AD can do this when they get out really far in front of the enemy team. But I mean, 21,000 gold, and Udyr is the only one in the game above, I guess, 12,000. So Kai'Sa's like roughly 10,000 gold up on everyone. So don't get the impression that Kai'Sa is like super overpowered or anything like that. Kai'Sa just has way, way, way more gold than anyone else in the game. And this is what happens when she, you know, does have good late game scaling, and this is what happens when she outscales the enemy team. So once again, thanks to Rienzo for sending this, a very solid Leona game, and allowed me to highlight the Kai'Sa player. If the AD gets this far out in front, usually it's due to some nice support play. So anyway, once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys are enjoying the holidays, and until next time, have a great time, see you again soon, and take care.